Hey everybody, it's Brooke. I hope you're having a great day. We're back with part 4 of our grocery bag junk journal series. And this is what everyone's been waiting for. Probably not true, but it was fun to say. Printing on weird stuff. What can we put through our printer is the real name of this. And just as a disclaimer, I'm not responsible for whatever you people try to put through your printers. Just saying. I'm responsible for using my own printer. You're on your own. But it's pretty good. If it's flat, it'll work. So what I have here would be a sheet of freezer paper. It's 8.5 by 11. It's shiny on the other side, but I'm going to leave it face down for now so that the glare doesn't hurt your eyeballs. But it is cut to 8.5 by 11, and it is freezer paper. It's not wax paper, it's not parchment paper, it's not deli paper. It is actually plastic coated freezer paper. And I have said this before, I had a hard time finding it here locally in Maine. So in the next couple days, I will have this available in the shop if you guys want to give this a shot and don't have freezer paper available. There'll be a pack of 5 pieces that I'll have cut down to 8.5 by 11 to fit in your printer. So those will be available. Keep an eye out. And that's what this is. Then next I have a template, which is just printed on regular copy paper. Yes, it is backwards. Took me a while to figure that one out. This will be available on the Facebook page as well, if you want to use it. If you want to use your own stuff, that works too. Then I just pulled out some fun things to try to print on. I have a sheet of tissue paper. This is just regular tissue paper. You can see with the decorative edge. I have a tiny little craft bag. I have a vintage Rolodex card. I have a little scrap of muslin. And I have a junk mail envelope. So we are going to try to print those on our freezer paper. Now, I will say, sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes something gets jammed. A lot of times you'll get sort of an ink smear just because you're putting kind of a thicker thing through your printer. It doesn't bother me. If something prints wrong, I just don't use it. If I get an ink smear, I just don't care. But it is sort of trial and error with some things. So it also is trial and error putting the items onto the freezer paper depending on how hot your iron gets, and just use a light hand is what I would recommend. All right, so off we go. I have this lovely towel down. Isn't it stunning? It is 5 o'clock somewhere. I think it's actually 5. No, it's 6 o'clock here. So I've got my iron, my very fancy iron right here, and I have it on between low and medium. I'm going to take the template that I printed out, and again, this is the one on the Facebook page. It is a free file, and it's the one that says template backwards. And the reason we've got it backwards is because we want to put our stuff down that we want to print on, and I'm going to use this as a guide because I actually sized these images. You certainly don't have to use this. If you just want to print on, a sheet of fabric, you can just iron your fabric right onto the freezer paper or whatever you want to do. But I thought I would go ahead and show you this. So I've got our little bag, and I'm putting this stuff face down, and I want our little bag to go here because I want that to print on it. And I'm just lining it up with this template. Then we have the Rolodex card. I'm going to put that, does it say? Nope, it only says Rolodex on one side. So I'm going to put it with the Rolodex printing face down, right over that image. And then I have this little square of muslin, and I'm going to give it a quick press. I want things to be as smooth as possible going through the printer. And I think it's going to need a little trim. You probably don't want a lot of strings going through your printer either. So I'm just going to give it a little haircut. Am I even doing that in camera? There we go. Not terribly worried about it being straight except on one edge. And we all know that straight is not anything that I do with any regularity. All right, so I've got the hairs trimmed off anyway. So this is what I want. Oop. That's not even close to straight. Good grief. I want the little bird image. I scanned that out of an old primer from 1899. I think it's so cute. And I want that to print on the fabric. So I'm lining that up. I'm making sure nothing's hanging off the edge of the paper. We want to make sure to keep this 8.5 by 11 so that our printer is happy. As happy as we can make our printer. Then I'm going to try this little piece of tissue paper. I have a hard time with tissue paper. I tend to press it too long onto the freezer paper and then I can't get it off. But we'll give it another shot. We have this cute girl that I found on Pinterest, and the background is just some watercoloring that I did. So I'm going to put that down. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty white. But then finally I have this junk mail envelope that's going to be too long. So it is open at the top, but I'm going to go ahead and lop off the end as well so that it fits on the piece of paper. And we'll just do a little gluing later. And I'm going to put it down right there. That's where I want it to print. And the other thing I think, well, I'll tell you that in a minute. So then I'm going to take my freezer paper and, oh, you can't see this. Let me scoot the whole towel down. There we go. I'm going to take my freezer paper and I'm actually going to stand up to make sure. This is the only part where you need to be moderately careful. I've got it shiny side down. So there's the shiny side facing downwards. And I'm lining it up at the top to be pretty straight because we don't want any weird corners or anything to get stuck in the printer. And then watching the plastic envelope in my junk mail, remember that'll melt, I'm just going to press. Not for any length of crazy time, particularly paying attention at the top of the items. Let's see. We'll see what we got going here. Oh, I'm peeling that backwards. Whoopsie. Give it one more press on the paper side. I turned it over. So this is our template side. That looks good. Everything's attached pretty well there. Oh, but we do have a stray piece. So I've peeled this off. This was our template. This is our freezer paper with all our pieces on it. And I'm just looking at the edges. Our envelope did not stick very well, and it's also still a little long. But I know I want that to go right along the bottom, so I'm just going to... Oh, should have trimmed it on the other side. Goofy. Putting it face down. And I know I want that right on the bottom. So I'm just going to go across the top. And I did just notice that when the nice old man opened the mail, he slid it across the top. I don't want to take the risk of that open edge jamming in the printer. So I'm going to grab some washi tape. I love this washi tape. Isn't this pretty? Waves. I don't know why I'm wasting it, but it's what I grabbed. And get it started. I know that this is particularly sticky washi tape, so I'm going to measure it, eyeball it. Now I'm sticking it on my clothes. Just sticking it down and peeling it up so it won't tear the envelope when we go to remove it. And I'm going to put that down just as close to the top of the envelope as I can get. And I'm going to snip off this edge. See where it's extending a little bit past the 8.5 by 11. So I want to get that off. And now I am going to go and put this through the printer. So hold on, and I'll be right back. Okay, everybody. I just pulled this out of the printer. I did have the presence of mind to turn my envelope right side up. I was thinking that, you know, when we first were putting things down, they had to go upside down. But because I was working straight on the freezer paper, the envelope needed to be facing upwards. Hopefully that makes some kind of sense. But at any rate, so I just fed this piece of paper through, this freezer paper through, just the way I would a normal piece of paper. I have a rear feed, and so I just put this right in the paper tray, and this is how it came out. So I'm pretty happy. We didn't get too much in the way of weirdness. Got a thread there, but let's see what we got here. So we got a little bit of ink smearing here, and a little bit up here at the top edge. I don't know if you can see that. Not much, and not much on the items at all, so I'm pretty excited. So what I'm going to do is take a baby wipe or a paper towel or whatever you got laying around. I got ink on my fingers, look at that. And my sweet nail tech Lily is little, but she's strong. And she told me she was going to punch me in the face if I came back in with fountain pen ink, paint, or there was something else on my fingers. I don't remember. There was something, and I'm guessing printer ink is not going to make her happy either. Oops. All right, so, we did have some smearage right up in here, and that's okay. So what I'm going to do is just take my baby wipe and wipe off this window. This is the cellophane window in the junk mail envelope. It may dry. The ink might dry if you give it a while. Don't know how long a while is. Don't want to wait. So I'm just going to wipe it off. And I'm kind of smushing it outward. I know there's a glare. I'm sorry. But that way the ink kind of goes around the edge of your envelope. And it looks a little bit more like you meant for it to be that way. So that is pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's see about taking these things off. You do want to let it sit and dry for a little bit. The ink is going to be dry on the, or wet rather, on the freezer paper. Look at that. So there's our Rolodex card. There's a little bit of an edge that it missed, but don't care. Love it. Here's our fabric. Just finding a loose edge and peeling. Oh, this came out great. Look at that. Oop, where are you? There you are. Oh no, look at all that ink. Lily's gonna kill me. Hi Lily, sorry. So I love how that came out. Then we have this little brown paper bag. I could have made that image a little smaller, but I love how that looks too. And you see I'm waiting. Okay, let's do the tissue paper. This is where I always run into trouble, but look. Oh, I didn't iron it too much this time, I don't think. Oh, look at that, it's coming off. Oh, it ripped a little bit, but that's okay. Let's see if it's stuck under the washi tape. So let's see if when we take this washi tape and the envelope off, it's going to tear it a little bit, but that's fine. It's tissue paper. Who cares, right? Oops. That. Let's see. This might be, you know. Oh, wait. I was going to say it might be a casualty, but looks like we're going to get most of it. Look at that. We did. And it looks great. Love it. And then we have our envelope. Yay. Love it also. So I would probably go in because we have to do some gluing on this. Actually, maybe we don't. Maybe I'll make it a page in the journal just like that instead of making it a pocket. I probably will go trim off this white place where the washi tape was. But either way. So there's our envelope. Let me get the freezer paper out of the way. I have read that you can use the freezer paper more than once. I don't because I cover it pretty thoroughly and it kind of loses its sticking power, and I hate pulling jams out of my printer. So I personally don't reuse it. So there's our envelope. Oops, see where you can see it. There we go. Here's our Rolodex card. Here's our little brown craft bag. And here's our fabric. And here's our little piece of tissue. You can iron that and it will lay flat again. It's just curled up from the glue. So look at that. Didn't we do great? How fun is that? So you can pretty much print on anything flat that you want to and use anything that you want. Again, this file will be available on the Facebook page for free. One of them will be called Template Backwards, and that's the one that you print out. It will be backwards, and you lay all your things face down on it. Let me pull it out again. This is the backwards one, and you're going to lay everything face down and wherever you want to print, like so. And then you take your shiny side of your freezer paper. Whoops, get back there. Take the shiny side of your freezer paper and put it face down. Line it up with the top edge of your paper. Make sure you've got a nice square that'll go through your printer without making it mad. Iron it with a light hand, like on a low setting. And then open the file that's also available on the Facebook page that's just template, because that'll be flipped the right way. And you just go and put your freezer paper through your printer like you would a normal piece of paper. And as I said, you could iron a full sheet of fabric on here. You could try whatever you like to try. And that's all there is to that. There is another way to do it if you don't have freezer paper. It's not my favorite because it makes the back of the item sticky, and that's using repositionable adhesive. Do this outside is my recommendation. It's very smelly, and it is aerosol. But you just spray the back of your item. Well, that's the front of your item. You spray the back of your item and put it on the freezer paper, or listen to me. You put it on a sheet of computer paper, rather, and run it right through. And then you can peel the item off, but as I said, it does leave a sticky residue, so I prefer the freezer paper. So hopefully that was as clear as mud, or a little clearer, and I hope you guys give this a try. Let me know how it works for you. And part 5 is going to be folding up some pages and looking at our signatures in our grocery bag junk journals. So thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me. If you like this video, if you got anything out of it, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe down below. The nice old man will put in all the places you can stalk us on the interwebs, including our Etsy shop, where you can buy a full physical kit of all the things I'm using to make my grocery bag junk journal if you'd like. And I think that's about it. So you guys have a great night, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.